Well, what's it say?
It's in Latin. I can't figure it out. Yes, I can. Wait a second. It's written by Nostradamus. Something about demons.
Look, bring it with you, but can we go now?
No, just a second. It says here that demons are instruments of evil.
Trick or treat.
Don't do that.
How do I look?
Whoever wears it becomes a demon.
How do you know?
It says here, whoever wears it becomes a demon.
You're tall, but I'm standing in front of you.
It's a podcast.
Welcome to You're Tall, but I'm Standing in Front of You, the podcast where we examine the cultural detritus of the 20th century. Again, we're back to the detritus.
Wow.
I'm Devin.
I'm Ethan.
And joining us this week is Dan Malinowski. Dan, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So, Dan, we wanted to bring you on because we're kind of like kickstarting our like spooky month, right? Our cue the like Dracula organ here or something.
He did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash.
You know, and we wanted to delve into, you know, the horror genre a little bit. And as I understand, this is like an area of your wheelhouse. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm an obsessive horror guy. You know, I'm not really into the horror trappings of the conventions, the costumes, the fake blood. I don't even like getting dressed up for Halloween. But at some point in my life, horror turned out to be that genre whose generic rhythms I found the most comforting, as fucked up as that is. And here I am. It occasionally gets me into some trouble, like when I'm explaining the in-depth plot summaries of the mini genre of austerity torture porn to one of my advisors. But otherwise, I find them comforting and interesting, and here I am.
Awesome. So we're doing something a little different this week. We're actually talking about two movies, and we are specifically delving into the subgenre of giallo, basically like this Italian subgenre of horror films. A lot of people probably know Suspiria. A lot of people probably know the name Dario Argento, who is associated with this. And we didn't actually watch a Dario Argento film this week, though he did produce these movies. But we watched Demons and Demons 2, or I should say Demoni Due.
Wow, flawless.
So we are the Italian X podcast of record. When I took 3 semesters of Italian 10 years ago, so
wow.
I'm pretty sure I'm on point. But before we dive into the demons world specifically, Dad, I was wondering if you could like maybe like for the listeners situate like what exactly giallo is a little bit? Like what are its kind of like defining characteristics? What besides the fact that it's Italian? Although that is a big part of it. And then, we could think a little bit about, to what extent is Dimoni exemplary or distinct?
Yeah. So this is going to be kind of a Cliff Notes breakdown of the genre, of which I am, to be sure, not an expert. But, so giallo apparently means yellow. I have no idea, but that's what people tell me. The name comes out of the fact that there were yellow covers on cheap Italian translations of American crime novels. So it originally begins as kind of like a reference to just a certain kind of sexually violent crime story.
I thought it was just like the sound Italian people made when they were scared.
Yeah. And then it comes to be known as this kind of segment of disreputable Italian genre filmmaking. You already mentioned Argento. Lamberto's, the director of Demons' father, Mario Bava, is also credited as one of the stylistic originators of this kind of film. When you say giallo, people typically think of a serial killer, stylized filmmaking, non-sync sound. Everyone knows the shitty dubs that you watch an Argento in, which both make them more and less creepy. And the usually, there are plenty of black and white giallos, but Americans really associate it with the bright colors of Argento. There's other giallo filmmakers whose cinematography isn't quite so colorful, like Lucio Fulci, whose movie, what is it called? But he has this one giallo set in Manhattan called The New York Ripper, where a man with a Donald Duck voice is killing women around the city.
Yeah.
And
that's a tough like final thing to hear. Does he also just wear a shirt and no pants?
No. I was talking to my partner about this. So if you wear a shirt and no pants, are you Donald Ducking it or Winnie the Poohing it? I think it's Winnie the Poohing it.
Interesting. I've always used the term Donald Ducking it personally. I think just because to me it verbifies easier than Winnie the Poohing. But I
think it's highly dependent upon the vibes, like extremely dependent.
It's fair though, because Donald Duck is also wearing a hat, so technically a true Donald Ducking should also involve like a sailor's cap or at least some kind of head covering. Whereas like Winnie the Pooh is just straight up, it's just a shirt. Anyway.
These are the important questions.
Yeah. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
But so anyways, so you think about a giallo killer and you think about someone wearing a black glove with a knife, killing a woman, and the movie is going to follow typically a man who's going to be a detective-like figure trying to figure out who the killer is. But you would get more modern American renditions of it. There's stuff like the 1980s film White of the Eye about a killer stereo salesman, which follows the giallo kind of plot arc while being set in, I think, Arizona or New Mexico. And then you get into the 90s movies like Seven and the other serial killer films of that era, which are clearly a development on earlier giallo films, even down to a pretty like generically identifiable color palette, the greens and browns of those movies. But so one of the reasons that I kind of decided to give you a giallo that isn't is because I think, Italian horror filmmaking is much more than just giallo films. And I think even at the start of the genre with Mario Bava's work, you have Blood and Black Lace, but you also have a movie like Bay of Blood, which, follows two people haphazardly killing a bunch of random people as part of a real estate scheme. who wind up just being shot in the face by their own children at the end of the film. And I think Demons really comes out of that kind of colorful, heavily stylized, really violent, still kind of sexually predatory filmmaking that you might not necessarily call giallo. And, you know, a kind of pocket narrative that I'd give is that Demons, by being like a fucked up, stupid zombie film, sort of, is a kind of adaptation and development of Mario Bava's earlier Bay of Blood, where the social circumstances of greed are completely replaced by pure genre. I mean, they're in a movie theater being killed by horror monsters. And I think that's what makes these so interesting. It's kind of a cap on the genre, if not an emblematic example of it.
Awesome. Yeah, so the movies we watched were Demons and Demons 2. They come out in 1985 and 1986 respectively, so right back to back, both directed by Lamberto Bava, the son of the aforementioned Mario Bava. Both, I think, produced by Dario Argento. I think Dario Argento involved on the screenplays for both. And yeah, I'm really interested to talk about these as like both as separate films, but also kind of like as like a piece, because there really is the like meta nature of these movies is really interesting. So anyway, do we want to start going through what happens?
Yes, let's do it.
Cool. Dan, you want to lead the way?
Yeah. So, you know, as I told you off mic, I mostly for Demons 2, but also to a large extent for Demons 1, I cannot remember the plot of these movies. I've seen Demons like 4 or 5 times, and once the shit starts to go down, I can never remember what's happening or what order things happen in. So I'm going to go through this plot with a little cheat of the Wikipedia page open in front of me. So
we've never done that before.
You can do that?
You know, sometimes I tell my kids that SparkNotes has a place, and I'm practicing what I preach. So, you know, Demons opens. We're in Berlin. Is it ever really announced as such? I don't think so. I think, you know, you just see some German words.
Yeah, I had no idea this was in Berlin until like after. And then the only then watch it, like when I read the Wikipedia article after watching Demons 1, I was like, oh, that was Berlin. I just like assumed it was Italy, you know? But then in the second one, the one scene that's like, oh, this is Berlin is like the parents of the girl who's having the party. Like there's this one like shot of them like eating at like a like beer garden, and like they're and the guy and the dad, like maybe the worst dad in cinema history, is just like, can you believe this? We're eating like dogs just so our shitty daughter can have a party. And I don't even know what he's eating, like a sausage or something. He's like, this is the worst thing. I can't believe on my daughter's birthday I have to be subjected to this.
He's not having a good time.
No. It also seems to start up with like the music is like a remix to the like In the Hall of the Mountain King, it sounds like. Weird 80s version. Maybe that was just me that noticed that. Maybe that's not even the case, but
yeah. Well, it's very like we're getting very classic like giallo music in this. I feel like the like electronic, progressive kind of like, you know, I think is a big part of the appeal of this genre. Is also just like people getting really into like the synthesizers and like the just like the slick aesthetic of it generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think especially in the Argento-y scene, which is definitely the nicer parts of these movies, you know, you get a lot of that. You know, people associate so much of giallo with just Goblin music. I don't know if you guys have listened to the Goblin soundtrack or just put it on for fun sometimes. But, you know, they're so addicting when you throw on the Suspiria soundtrack or something. But what's weird about this one is the amount of licensed music, which I guess we're going to touch on later. But it's it's so strange that this movie has a key scene that is to White Wedding.
Yeah.
Which also makes me think, how cheap is White Wedding to get? All right.
I feel like White Wedding is in movies all the time. Like we should get the rights to it. We should just have White Wedding looping over this entire podcast.
Yeah, get it for this episode. Anyways, so we're on a subway. We get a bunch of establishing shots. A man offers the university student Cheryl 2 tickets to a free screening at a movie theater that until recently was closed. I'm just gonna, real quick as an aside here, I will immediately forget who Cheryl is in this movie. All these characters bleed together for me except the blind guy. And from scene to scene, it's like I'm watching the first scene of a movie. I just do not know.
Yeah, no, it's funny because it like establishes her like in the beginning, like this is like the protagonist, and then she does kind of last pretty long. So there's that. But other than that, like she's not at all importantly involved in anything that happens like in any distinct way from anyone else between what happens from like the beginning to the end. It's just one of these people in the theater. Yeah.
Except she, skipping ahead, she lasts the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know that if I wasn't looking at her name in this Wikipedia plot summary. So that's one of the amazing things about this movie, and I think in its sequel are just like how this could just be a series of unrelated sketches, and you get the same effect out of this movie. So anyways, they go to this free screening. They're given tickets by a creepy lady in a mask. A masked man. Other people, they run into other people, including 2 guys, George and Ken. Ken will not survive, I think, the entire movie. There's a lot of other fun characters who are going to show up. A blind man and his guide. I think it's his guide niece. I think the wiki here says it's his daughter. I'm pretty sure it's his niece.
The blind guy is great. He's just like spending the entire time like, what's happening now? And now what's happening?
They may have renovated the theater, but they did not make it accessible. And I think that's one of the first signs that things are going to go wrong.
I was also like this guide niece just like leaves the dude at some point to like have sex or something, and just like the poor guy's just sitting there like, but wait, what's happening? What's going on in the movie? I don't understand.
Why didn't you join us?
Liz, where are you?
He's calling me here. I better get back to him.
Let's go.
I noticed that most people in this film they're all like unique types of 70s assholes, or I guess 80s versions of assholes. Like you have the niece that just kind of like walks off and leaves that guy there alone. So she can like have sex with a random guy. I'm not sure if she knew who this guy was, but she does that. You've got like the girl who's pissed off that her friend gave her like a free ticket to a movie showing. You have her friend who is getting that girl killed by the end of it because it is in fact a haunted screening.
I mean, this is a movie about how the worst thing that can happen to you is seeing a movie.
Yeah. But everyone sort of is, especially at the beginning, kind of established as all assholes in their own unique way.
Yeah, we're not in the world of it's going to be a bummer when anyone dies.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely part of this movie and its sequels, like strategy that you're going to be happy to see these people go.
Yeah.
And so, we unfortunately have to mention the fact that there's a pimp named Tony, and he brings 2 women with him. And this is significant because one of the women is going to find the mask that the guy's wearing, who gives everyone the tickets in the lobby. It's going to scratch her face, and something's going to happen. But before something can happen, we're given the movie within the movie, which is about 4 teens who go to dig up the grave of Nostradamus.
Which, by the way, where is Nostradamus buried? Right? You could just like walk up to it.
Newark, New Jersey.
It seems like they're just also in Berlin too. They're like,
yeah,
right.
Apparently, he died in the south of France. I I did not know he was French, I have to say.
So we're all getting a history lesson today as well. So they go to dig up the grave of Nostradamus for some reason, because kids just love doing grave robbing. And instead of his body, they find an old book and a mask identical to the strange mask that Rosemary has picked up in the lobby.
It says here, whoever wears it becomes a demon and an instrument of evil.
Yeah, sure.
Now we know why you look so good at it.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
And what happens is one of the movie's characters puts on the mask and is scratched by it. This scratch turns him evil. He becomes one of the titular demons, and he kills all his friends. Then we cut to Rosemary, getting gloopy and gross with some great practical effects, turning into a demon herself, starting the plot of the movie, which is the demons are going to act like zombies. Every time anyone's killed by a demon, they transform into a demon themselves. The when and how is seemingly random. And we're going to spend the next 70 minutes or so watching everyone in this theater die.
Hey, what's the deal with the box office lady in this film? She's like there for the first part, and she's like walking. You feel like she has some inside understanding of perhaps what's about to befall these people. Like she sees Rosemary get cut, and she's like, she's just walking through the theater with a flashlight this whole time, shushing people as well. It is a rowdy audience. I have to hand it. She did not have an easy job. But then she just disappears halfway through the film.
Man, I got to be honest, I do not remember this person at all.
I just remember once the demons actually start appearing, it seemed like she was there oh, this is where the exit is. Maybe she actually is just sort of in it with them. But then I don't recall what happens to her. But regardless, things do go downhill very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, there is there is this kind of not fully explored conspiracy element to this film where it's okay, this was all somehow rigged to happen, right? This guy has arranged for these people to be in the theater. We do end up seeing him again at the end. He somehow has some kind of stakes in wanting there to be demons. We eventually see the projection equipment, and it's all automated, right? Which is very there's kind of this, ooh, there's something's up here kind of thing. But it's a little unclear what the masked dude's ultimate goals are, right? Besides just wanting demons to exist, and that and that they are manifested through the power of cinema somehow.
Right. Well, what's also weird is that, and one of the reasons that you got to take everything in this movie at face value, is just after they find that stupid computerized machine. Which shows the end of cinema as we know it. Someone says, it's not the movie, it's the theater.
It's not the movie. It's the theater. It's this theater that kills.
Right? Which, and we'll get to this when we get to Demons 2, but Demons 2 is nah, dude, it was the movie. pretty firmly. They go back and they revise that one.
Yeah.
And I just pulled up the movie just so I could, make sure that I mention the weird inscription that they find, which is they say, All right, the kids are looking at the book on my screen. This is great podcasting right now. Demons are instruments of evil, according to Nostradamus's book. Dumb kid just put on the mask. Whoever wears it becomes the kids already know whoever wears the mask becomes a demon, apparently, in this scene. So in the movie, demons are something that people know about, right? And that's also one of the weird parts about the movie is that everyone just is yeah, they're demons. They don't come up with any other thing they could be. They're just they're definitely demons. These are what demons are. Demons are things that kill everyone, and then they turn everyone they touch into demons themselves. Which is not a lore that exists outside of this movie.
Because it's basically zombie rules.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a little unclear, but it's like, if you get scratched, definitely if you get killed by the demons, but even if you get like kind of scratched, or sometimes seemingly just if you're in the general proximity of a demon, like you are liable to like become a demon. But sometimes sometimes immediately, and sometimes with like a delay, sometimes like with a long transformation scene, sometimes with a single cut, right? But and sometimes like watching like demons on screen makes you a demon. But yeah, like
I just love the idea of Nostradamus like meeting with the French king in his court and be like, demons, they're an instrument of evil, and everyone's like, holy shit. This is new information. Someone write that down in stone.
Yeah.
It's compelling stuff.
It is. All right. So the inscription is, they will make cemeteries their cathedrals, in tombs your cities, which great stuff. Appropriately metal. And I think that really, that sets up, one thing that we haven't talked about yet, but I don't know if you guys found this. I find, especially Demons 1, legitimately creepy at times, despite how goofy and how much we're laughing. Like, I find it to be a legitimately disturbing movie to watch, partly because of the complete lack of identification with any of the characters. I mean, they're just people that are just going to the slaughter, and we're going to watch them all die.
Also because, again, you don't really know the rules of how the demons work, and they seem to change throughout the film, and I think that adds some level of not really knowing what the hell's going to happen in any given scene.
Yeah, there's there's a kind of nihilism to this movie that like is kind of profoundly disturbing, in this sense of like as you're saying, Dad, like it is completely resisting any attempts we have to to identify with any of these people. At the same time, it just like we are just like being so subjected to their just like immiseration, and it's so claustrophobic. It's all in like the theater, right? There's very little like in some horror movies, there'll be those kind of like pacing arcs where like there's a while where it seems like, oh, the people are kind of getting the upper hand and stuff. There are those moments in this film, but they are so vanishingly short, like it's like the pimp guy who sort of starts to assert some like authority at one point is like, oh, let's like get the chairs and barricade and like, here's my knife and stuff. He's literally in that position for about like 10 seconds and then just like gets like I think he's like working on like cutting a piece of rope that like some people that have been demonified are like basically like hung from, and he just gets fucked, right? like immediately. And yeah, you're just very much like, it's like watching like a slaughterhouse, even as goofy as it is, as and some of the effects and stuff, it's just like, it's like, no, everyone's fucked.
And they do, and the demons themselves do look scary. I mean, they're goofy looking, they got big teeth, they got bad makeup, and yet for some reason or somehow, and this is the power of filmmaking, Bava just makes it actually disturbing to imagine these people coming at you in a way that I don't think that even a zombie would be. Like there's something off about the demons that makes it so effective.
Yeah, there's like a little body horror element to like, because like their teeth grow in, and sometimes we get these really long shots of like the demon fangs coming in and like forcing out the teeth, like whereas like it's very different from like the kind of zombie movie thing where like you'll have like the person, like there's kind of this line where they like stop being a person and start being a zombie, and that's often very like there's kind of like a ha kind of thing, like the demon transformation is often much like we see it happening, and we see the person like becoming demon and losing their mind like in real time in a way that's like pretty disturbing. And yeah, there is something about them where they like credit, like as much as we've said it's weird how like they're basically zombies but they're called demons, there is something distinct about the demons,
right?
That you don't have the same, I feel like, kind of generic security blanket you have in a zombie movie with this one for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's no epidemiological aspect to these guys. No one thinks, oh shit, I just got to cut off my hand now to slow the infection. Like no one ever uses the language of infection really to describe what's happening. It just spreads. All right, so I guess to just kind of go back to the movie for a sec. So we got Rosemary. She scratches. She turns into a demon. She attacks her friend Carmen. The Wikipedia summary skips the next part, which is the blind guy's niece wanders off behind the screen to have sex with someone who I don't even remember who she has sex with.
Just some guy, I think.
And for some reason, they go behind the screen, which is insane and rude. But so then she gets attacked somehow by someone. And, they hear screaming and someone in the theater says, do you hear screaming? And then a guy responds, that's just the Dolby sound system. And then we get the great shot of the demon bursting through the screen, ending.
Awesome shot.
And beginning the chaos that's going to wrap up the movie as everyone slowly gets picked off.
Hey, baby. What happened? Shit, baby, what happened? What the hell's going on here, huh?
Cheryl, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I should have never suggested we come here. The movie, it's happening just like in the movie.
Son of a bitch! Shit! Hey, George, look at her fingernails!
And it's about this time as after the characters have barricaded themselves in the balcony to try and get away from the demons, who they now understand that for some reason 4 punks enter.
Yeah, this is something something I love that's like a through line with both Demons and Demons 2 is like something about the Demons playbook is like you have to also have like a B plot involving like some shitty punks driving around really fast,
doing so much coke.
Yeah.
Hey, hot dog, next time let's rip off a Ferrari. This he's got no class.
It's like you, airhead. Been putting out too long.
You asshole.
Shut up.
One of the times I watched this is because I screened this for a class of mine, and I had completely forgotten about the extended nipple play coke scene. And I gotta say, that is one of the worst moments of my life, which is sitting in that room while that scene comes on, just being like, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do?
And it's long. We get a long shot of like, because they're using like, they spill some of the cocaine, right? And the guy's like, the guy who's not helping is like, every drop of it, not, whatever he says. And they're using razor blades to kind of scoop up the cocaine that they spilled. And then that turns into, this like razor blade nipple play, super extreme close up on the nipple, just for like minutes. We're talking minutes.
Really, half the runtime of this film is that weird coke.
Yeah.
So the punks get in because the demon, I don't know.
It was the blind guy.
Yeah. You must remember better than me. What is the
He's
blind
the
guy
only
do?
one that's able to find the exit, apparently, when he turns into a demon, is that guy. And he just stumbles out.
Yeah. Well, and so why are the punks, though, they're running from the cops, right? Right, and they go into the theater because the function of the punks for the movie is to open up the theater to the outside world such that one of the demons can escape, with the implication that now this is going to spread like beyond the theater.
Right.
Like that's their so I think they're running from the cops and they're like, oh, let's run into this theater. And they kind of remove the like, there's been this room that they've put some kind of heavy thing, I can't remember what it is, in front of the one door, and the punks remove that door and then remove that object, and then like, so now it's like, oh, this isn't just contained to the theater anymore.
Right.
And the punks all die as well. I'll get demified.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
The German punks. All right, so they get demified. Door opens. Then everyone continues to get picked off. At one point, we get a great scene of someone riding a motorcycle around, killing demons with a samurai sword that's in the theater and is sharp. Which goes back to your conspiracy thing, which is like, who set up this theater? Like, who?
Yeah, I guess it's like the idea is it's like part of like a display for like advertising a movie or something. But yeah, like it's a working motorcycle with gas apparently, and like yeah, an actual sharp samurai sword. But I have to say, better swordplay than anything we saw in Highlander in the last episode. Like this is what cool swordplay looks like. He just driving a motorcycle through a movie theater and slicing down demons.
True.
Very fun.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, the motorcycle, while cool, doesn't actually stop the demons. We whittle down to the core three: Kathy, the main character, and the main character's boy that she found. There's a sad scene where Kathy begins to turn, and they're like, "No!"
Oh my God! Stop! Kathy!
Kathy! Not the Kathy you knew! Understand?
And then, the movie comes to its climax.
Hold up here, because something happens there with Kathy, which is that like an actual demon like bursts from her body, which is like, hold up.
Oh, right.
Now something different is happening. What's going on here? I think my comment I wrote down here just says, well, that's new. So yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
I have nothing else to add. That's just like a thing that then just like that happens. There's an actual like a puppet they must have used, like a demon.
Wait, that happens in Demons 1?
It happens in Demons 1 as well. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that. But yeah, no, but this is, going back to some of the stuff we were talking about, how you don't have like the generic security blanket of like zombie tropes, which like, because zombie films are all about, it's like Shaun of the Dead and shit riffs on this, right? It's like, know the tropes and you can survive, kind of like there's rules, like demons just like at any time it's like, oh yeah, they also do things also can work completely differently for no particular reason. Like it's just like it's much more like it's getting into almost like just kind of a Lovecraftian space of just like, you don't understand what the fuck is going on. This is like beyond your capacity to gamify, like, good job with the sword and everything, but
right.
Yep.
And there's no exposition dump. Like there's no point where like they find in the basement of the theater the writings of Kundar or something that explain what the fuck they're dealing with. It's not even identifiably an ancient evil. It's just evil. And it's weird.
Yeah.
Go on.
Nope. Just I had nothing else to say. It's just it is indeed weird.
And basically have like a 2-act structure, right? We have the before the demons show up and the after the demons show up. And that's also what's interesting about them, is that like these are weird screenplays, even before you get to what you see on screen. I mean, there's no rising, falling action. Like Devin was saying, once we get going, we're just going to nihilistically watch everyone die, and that's what remains. So it's not even like a slasher, right? Like a Friday the 13th, where scene by scene, Jason's going to go through and pick off the teens. It's a different kind of nihilism than that, because the teens have a chance to fight back. And the whole arc of that kind of film is that, the teens begin to understand the rules that Jason's playing by. They're going to, by the end of the film, the final girl's going to understand how to fight back. And there's going to be an escape, unless that is what the movie's playing with. Here, they're able in both of these films at the end of the, and we just passed Kathy, so I guess we'll just wrap up Demons 1. They get out, they ride the motorcycle out of the theater.
Oh no, they don't.
They don't? Oh wait.
A helicopter crashes through the ceiling of the theater. They get a grapple out of the helicopter and take that up to the roof.
Yeah. Well, and then they get just to kind of like skip ahead to the punch. They get like picked up by just these like random German people.
Fucking wild thornberries out here picking them up in their Jeep.
Yeah, which the Wikipedia article described these people as survivalists, which I love. And they're like, they pick them up and they're like driving and they're like, maybe we can find like somewhere to start anew. Like, so there's this implication that like the world is fucked.
Yeah. So they run away, and they're survivalists, and you can tell that because the dad who picks them up has a vest.
Yeah.
They're in a Jeep. Only a survivalist would own a Jeep. That's true.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you don't own a Jeep, you wouldn't understand. So,
right.
It's a Jeep thing.
Really, and so we end with some kind of family being established, though definitely not quite a nuclear family either, because the dad, as it looks like, just looking at it right now, it looks like his daughter and his son. I mean, I guess that could be an exceptionally young wife, but it looks like his daughter. And then these two, who we have to remember just met, are now holding hands or not holding hands, depending on the shot, as they drive away.
Yeah. And then, of course, Cheryl turns into a demon.
Yeah.
Little jump scare at the end.
It seems like we are, and this is, I think, this to me is like so key to this movie's particular brand of nihilism. Because like, you seem to be like, oh, we're at the end. These two characters have escaped. They're driving off to the sunset. The credits are going to roll. And then again, seemingly out of nowhere, Cheryl just becomes a demon. And then without hesitation, like the children of this survivalist just shoot her and like leave her on the side of the road. And George is just left there like, okay, I guess I'm the only one.
Right.
And it's just like, it's, this movie's like philosophy is just like, listen, everyone is going to become a demon and you need to kill everyone. You can have no attachment to anyone or anything. And like the father's just like, good shot. And they just keep driving.
And then, and so this ending actually does structurally mirror Mario Bava's Bay of Blood, where after the parents have successfully finished their scam and murder spree, are just randomly killed by their kids because the kids find a gun in the house. So both of these, so Lamberto's clearly commenting on the Italian horror genre as it exists prior to him, because he's a Spielberg figure to an older generation, right? He's commenting on the genre that exists. He's not, you certainly could not call this movie groundbreaking in any way, but still a masterpiece, I gotta say.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Demons. Let's I don't think we need to go through it with the same level of detail, but let's talk a little bit about Demons 2, especially just I think the premise of Demons 2 is so interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I don't even know how to explain it. So like structurally, like just big picture overall, Demons 2 is a similar film to Demons 1, except instead of a movie theater, we are in an apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a bigger sense of, there's more of a sense of scale. There's more different kinds of spaces the film can play with. Because like there's this whole like gym in the apartment building where like, so there's like a sequence there, which the gym inexplicably, like there's a personal trainer who is just the same guy that was the pimp in Demons 1. And not just like the same actor, but playing like seemingly the same personality, the same character again. There's different apartment buildings. There's like a birthday party happening in one, or I'm sorry, different apartments. There's a, birthday party happening in one. There's like a pregnant wife in another, there's like a sexual liaison happening in another. But the thing that is so disturbing about Demons 2 is, we've just left Demons 1 with this implication that the world has like been like kind of like apocalyptically fucked or something. Yet Demons 2 also takes place in Berlin and seems to exist in a world in which Demons 1 happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the interesting things. And I rewatched the beginning carefully this time, and no one ever confirms whether or not what they're, so to the audience at home, on TV in all these apartments is another movie or something, which may or may not be a documentary or a fictional film about the events of Demons 1 and its aftermath.
Yeah.
So what is on TV is about, it presumes that Demon 1 has happened and the world almost ended, but society successfully walled off the Demons 1 area. It's unclear if the Demons 1 area exists in Demons 2, but people act like what the Demons movie on TV is a legit event that horrifies them.
Yeah.
Even before it breaks into the real world of the film, it's still interestingly ambiguous whether or not it's a real thing they're watching.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem to have the vibe. Like it's the thing they're watching on TV doesn't seem to me to be just a fictional film. It seems to be like a History Channel reenactment or something of a historical event. And like we even like, don't we get like there's kind of a there's an opening narration and stuff that like talks about this like as if it's like history almost. But like, yeah, we never really get a clear sense of like in the dialogue establishing what the sort of like the truth status or the fictionality status of Demons 1 is. Which is one of the things that's kind of unsettling about this film, because it's like, are we in our world where people are like watching Demons 1, or are we actually in the world of Demons 1? It's like it's very strange.
Right. Yeah. And so this is why, I still like Demons 2, even though I think it's it loses something in the apartment building, but the apartment building, we were talking about how Demons was clearly a bunch of stereotypes of 80s jerk-offs. I mean, Demons 2 leans in big. I mean, we got a glass-walled apartment building that's just huge. I mean, it's really, we're still in Berlin, presumably, but it's really the nouveau riche are the target of this one. Or yuppies, I guess, to use a more accurate 80s term.
The one apartment with the couple, it's like the dude and and his pregnant wife or pregnant partner. They have just like a neon like sign on their wall that says night, like above where like they make their cocktails. It just like and the way that guy is dressed, this kind of suit he's wearing, just like, yeah, it's like these are if Demons 1 was sort of about kind of like a little more of like kind of the underclass, right? We've got like the pimps and the prostitutes and like sort of just these random people who are willing to go to this weird movie, so there's a little bit of an outsider quality to them. Demons 2 is just like, like this is like the upper crust of that society, just horrible people. Just like, like the girl whose birthday it is, who just is like, she's doing this like it's my party, I can cry if I want to thing.
Right. Everyone else outside is like threw on the newest Smiths album. They're like, yeah, we're having a great time.
That's Asia Argento, the girl whose birthday it is, in her first role.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So a movie star is born here. Okay, so we're in this apartment building. There's a bunch of people. They all want to hang out, doing their own things. On TVs, this film begins to play. Crucially, in one of the rooms, there's a birthday party going on for Asia Argento, playing a young woman named. She's not.
Asia Argento is the little girl.
Wait, really?
Like the very young girl. Yeah. Like with the parents.
Right. All right. So sorry,
that's
Asia
Asia
Argento is in this film, but is not Sally. But so Sally is someone else who I do not care about. And she invites, she has this boy Jacob she likes. Her friend receives a call from Jacob, and then and Jacob's invited to the party. This sends Sally into a tailspin.
Who was it?
It was Jacob.
Jacob! And you told him to come here?
Sally,
To my house?
Sorry, I thought that.
You idiot! I don't want him to come. Otherwise, you're gonna leave and just get out of here. I mean, will you all get out of here, please? Get out!
Recognizably teenage. She goes into her bedroom, begins to watch the Demons film. Her friends lock the door so they can prepare the birthday cake in secret. And
a normal thing that you do, always like just locking people in a room and forgetting about them for like an hour at their own birthday party. Also, why does this room lock from the outside?
Yeah.
A lot of great questions. Great questions. This is really the issue with modern construction. They put the locks on the wrong side. The walls are cheap. Really a lesson here. Anyways, so while she's locked in the room, the demons, unlike last time where there was an object in the world that turned people into demons, this time it's pure media. Media is the issue. The demon in pretty cool CGI for the 1980s comes out of the screen.
Yeah, it's like the static of the TV goes staticky, and like the shape actually kind of emerges. It's very kind of like Videodrome-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally, like it's whereas at least in the first Demons, you have this sort of like, oh well, they did fuck up. They shouldn't have fucked with that mask, right? This is just like, oh no, this person just watched TV, right? You are punished for like this. This movie is about punishing you for having watched Demons 1, essentially. It's like, no, you're a bad person and you need to die.
And they do. She bursts out of the room and starts to attack people. And almost everyone becomes a demon. Also, the demon's blood this time is acidic or something.
Yeah, like eats through the floors.
Goes to the floor. A dog's gonna lick it, so we get a dog demon this time, which is
didn't care for that.
And
Prey fans, this was not this sort of the good dog vibes we got in Prey. Although it was cool. I mean, I do love when a dog kills its owner. That's always fun.
It shows you they can bite back. And so also a little boy, like the dog, is poisoned by the bile, so we get a little boy demon this time. That's fun. And at this point, the movie kind of identifies its surviving couple again, which is going to be the pregnant woman and her husband. She fights the little boy. He gets the chest burster scene this time, so the little boy's chest opens up and a smaller demon comes out that looks like a what are the little guys? Gremlins?
Yeah. No, it very much looks like a leftover prop from like Gremlins 2 or like Big Trouble in Little China or something.
And so she has a long fight with that smaller demon. I mean, it only gets a sentence in this Wikipedia summary, but that fight's like 10 minutes of her running around her apartment trying to escape the demon that has popped out.
And it's like that fight really highlights too, just like so much of this movie is like about this apartment building is like more of a character than the people themselves, maybe. And just like the movie, like I feel like hates this apartment building. It's like, this is like the new slick construction, the unnecessary gadgetry. And I don't even understand what the thing that she ends up like killing the demon, well, almost killing the demon by like putting him in some kind of like part of the wall that like folds out and is like, there's some kind of like electrical thing going on. And like, so the demon gets shocked a bunch. It's a very weird apartment. Like there's weird gadgets and neon and stuff. Like it's a very kind of like postmodern space, slick surfaces, shiny lights, unnecessary electricity. Although I guess it's the husband that ends up finally killing that thing with what, a fucking umbrella.
Yeah.
Umbrella through the head.
And through the wall next door, not just so, just to make sure that the thing's dead. He really goes hard. I mean, that's why you don't skip the gym, which leads us to one of the most amazing sentences I've read in a minute, which is, meanwhile, a group of bodybuilders led by a gym instructor named Hank have barricaded themselves in the building's underground parking garage. So we've skipped entirely the insane scene of introducing the bodybuilders who on this Friday night are all hanging out together, working out in Hank's little gym club.
Yeah, and like the power goes out at one point, and Hank is like, "All right, everybody, let's call it." Doesn't seem like the power is gonna go back on. And there's this one guy who has some hilariously German name. His name's like Gunther or something. And he's just been doing like chest flies like for like seemingly hours and will not stop doing them. He also won't speak, but he's just like, guys, like, well, suit yourself. You're just gonna keep doing this in the dark on Friday night.
All right, dude.
People, we better stop since the light's on the blink, right? See you tomorrow. Okay. Come on, Hank. See ya. Hey, Mueller. Did you hear what I said? And you, boy, I'll do what you want. See you tomorrow.
Well, Sally's father is like having to eat goulash and like thinking about killing himself.
Why did I have to come here? To eat like a dog, just so Sally can have a party.
He should have gone to the gym. I mean, clearly that was open. So then the gym people, they get attacked by demons. So they go to the parking garage where they stage a battle with the demons with Molotov cocktails, shotguns, and other weapons, which I have no idea where they get the Molotov cocktails and materials for that. But they are prepared to make Molotov cocktails too. It's not just that they make Molotov cocktails. I mean, they're reading the anarchist cookbook.
Yeah.
They've got like a production line going. It's a very effective operation.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for them, it is not enough, and they're overrun.
Yeah. Also, the Hank guy, it realizes that if we light a bunch of fires in this locked garage, we're going to suffocate. So that guy seems to just generally have an awareness of like, let's do things. Both in the first and second movie, he's the guy who is first like, we should get out of here when the one demon comes through the screen and everyone's just staring at her. In this film, he's like, we should go to the garage and we should block the entrance, but hold up, we don't want to suffocate. He actually has plans, which is more than most people in these films can say. So props to that guy in both films, even though I guess they're two different characters, maybe not.
Two different guys. I like to think that they're canonically they're like identical twins. That, but like the guy doesn't like to talk about his other brother who was like this unsavory pimp figure. He was like clean living, working out, leader of men.
What else is Bobby Rhodes in? Is he just in these? Or I feel like, he has one of those faces that I'm like, I must have seen him in a ton of. He's in Leviathan. I don't know if you guys remember this one. It's a.
Hold on, he was actually born in Italy. That's interesting.
Yeah. Non-sync sound. They're probably speaking Italian on set.
Yeah.
And he's in a ton of Italian genre films. It looks like, and some TV.
1989's Afghanistan: The Last War Bus. Gonna have to see that.
Goodness.
In 2011, he reprises the role for an animated film about Tony the Pimp, giving you backstory for Tony.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
We got it. Oh, we got to watch that. Oh, wow. That's the famous character from Demons comes back after 25 years of silence. He's recruiting new girls for his business when he stumbles on various dodgy characters and also a long-lost twin brother.
Wow.
So this is canon. This is canon. Oh, man. This is the kind of like expanded universe I want. I don't want the MCU. I want a 2.5 hour long Tony the Pimp movie that's like in the style of Shaft or something.
Oh my God. It's like, how what's his face made a Army of the Dead prequel starring the bank robbing guy that no one wanted, but better. Anyways, so the modern apartment building for some reason locks the garage when the power goes out, so everyone dies. The infected make their way back up the building. At one point, they set up a gas bomb that kills many infected, except for Sally, whose birthday continues to go. And finally, Sally finds the pregnant woman and her husband. Somehow they wind up in a neighboring building with a television studio.
Yeah, they rappel down they kind of they spelunk down the building to kind of escape from Sally, but then she kind of just like jumps after them.
And this is another one of those moments where the editing of these films doesn't make much sense, but individual shot compositions, like most of the shots in the TV studio, are kind of breathtakingly composed.
Yeah. And it's such a strange set. It's a very it's again doing this thing where there's a lot of machinery, there's a lot of weird automation and lights going on. It's just a very weird postmodernistic 80s space.
Right.
But filmed really, really well. Just awesome shots. And such a strange place that they've ended up after we've been in this apartment building for an hour and a half.
Right. And so, and it really does bring home the fact, if the previous one was no, it's spooky as the theater, this one's no, it really is TV that's killing you. Because they fight Sally, they manage to kill Sally somehow.
Also she gives birth, we should say. She gives birth first in the television studio, and then Sally kind of comes in after. So he's holding the baby.
Right. Sally somehow dies in front of every single camera in the studio, which means that there's a giant museum wall of CRT monitors showing Sally's dead body. Some of them turn into a video of Sally beginning to run at the camera, presumably to begin the sequence all again. George, the husband, valiantly smashes the monitors, and he and Hannah exit with their newborn baby, presumably to live happily ever after, because unlike the first one, they completely kill off the demons this time.
Yeah, we do the first demons, we think we're gonna get that sort of, this couple has survived and are now sort of I don't know, I guess are gonna fall in love in the demonic future thing. And then it's oh no, she's a demon, fuck you. This one we actually do get the happy ending, and it does seem to be linked to the fact that these characters I understand at this point. Oh yeah, don't watch TV. Don't watch anything. The only way to survive is not to watch anything. This is bad for you. It is going to, it's kind of prophetic in that way. The film, it's just you are going to turn into mindless zombies if you just keep watching this content. You have to destroy it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You don't get to watch it critically. You don't get to watch it with a sort of ironic remove. It's going to kill you no matter what. So just destroy the fucking screen itself.
And so those are the two Demons films. I mean, the rest of there was a Demons 3, but wasn't by Lamberto Bava. It wound up becoming a film called The Church, which is basically about, it makes the mistake of providing background to these films, right? It was pitched as, here's the origins of the demons. It was about how, in the Middle Ages or medieval Germany, a bunch of knights managed to banish the devilish demons into the basement of this church. And wouldn't you know it, someone unlocks the basement of the church and they have to fight the demons. And so it's a much more normal film. And for that, more boring. Because it's just a typical, supernatural horror film. And weirdly making the demons just an example of, a kind of regular Catholic demon hell hegemony. makes them much more boring and much less frightening than they are in these two.
Is there also a B plot of punks in that film as well?
Unfortunately not.
See, it's not a demons film if you don't have, throughout the first hour of the movie, random cuts to. We shouldn't even talk about the punks.
I was going to say, in the second one,
just like,
they don't even. Do they even connect at all to the main plot?
I guess it's just that the only function they serve is that they cause a car accident that kills the kid's like mom, I guess, like who's going back to check on him. And then like that kid turns into a demon and then gives birth to the other little demon anyway, you know, but it's not really clear why that had to happen. They're just like out there. They're just out there going really fast.
Yeah.
It's the punk lifestyle, you know. That's just part of the demon's magic. You need Tony the Pimp in one of his many reincarnations, and you need punks going really, really fast.
Yeah.
All right, that's Demons and Demons 2.
And Demons 2 does have a worse soundtrack. We got to say that. Demons 1, a lot of great licensed music. Demons 2, who cares?
Yeah, we do get some licensed music at Demons 2, right? But it's like not. What do they play at the party? It's like.
I thought it was the Smiths. It sounded like the Smiths.
Yeah. Which Smith song is it? Do you remember?
London.
That's fine, but like, yeah, the White Wedding usage in Demons 1 is really where it's at.
But I guess, you know, it's like they're listening to the Smiths. I mean, that's part of the yuppie thing, right? Like, we go from hard rock to, you know, teens vibing.
Yeah. This is the plasticification of punk is happening, right?
Yeah.
Because even by Smith song standards, I think that's like a particularly like polished and shiny cut to use.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if this was a seminar, I think you can make a mild argument that these two movies taken together do track the gentrification of Berlin in West Germany in the post-war era, where we go from, you know, the restoration of movie houses to the beginning of financialization and yuppification and development in the second one. And the third one, you know, if we get into it, what it was supposed to be, because Michael Sobey, the director of the third one, just fucking hated it. He did not want to do it. And so he eliminated all references to the original films. But, you know, if we imagine that the script wasn't that distinct, we can imagine that like the urge to like go to a church in Germany shows the long history of like Western European in demons, especially because, you know, we go to a church, it's about iconography, right? The demons are always tied to a certain kind of iconography. But maybe I'm giving these too much credit and spinning out the more interesting film that I wish I was watching when I turn on Demons 3.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So that's Demons.
So, Dan, we have a segment on this show that we like to do because, of course, we recognize the voice of the people as ultimately deciding the value and the quality of cinema. And by that, we mean people who leave reviews on IMDb. And to that regard, we have a segment that we like to call Vox Populi. Now, the way that this typically works is a game involving some IMDb reviews. And here's my take on how this game is going to work this week. As we have been discussing in Demons and Demons 2, there's kind of this movie within a movie that seems to be happening in both of them, but to different degrees and different angles, where kind of the fictional account becomes real partway through these films. The demons take a life of their own. And so we're going to do that with these reviews. I'm going to give you a couple reviews, each one of you a review. And I'm going to pause before the end of it. And I'd like you to finish the review as if the world of demons is unfortunately becoming real for that reviewer. I will award points based on how many of the tropes from Demons or Demons 2 you are able to use in wrapping up these reviewers' reviews. And we'll go from there. Are there any questions?
Can I get an example before I do this?
I'll go first.
All right.
I'll be the guinea pig. I'll be the guinea pig for this one. So
great. Devin, I'm going to give you one from Demons 2.
All right.
So this review is called Very Gruesome, Surprisingly Good. This is from September 2001. Excuse me.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Okay. So,
a second Demons film has hit the North Tower.
So this guy had a few things on his mind when he wrote.
Wait. Do you have a specific date though? I just need to.
It happened on September 29th. So
18 days.
Okay, so he's had a couple weeks to process.
And the way that he processed was watching Demons 2. And he wrote this review. Okay, first of all, anybody who is expecting The English Patient from a movie called Demons 2 will be sorely disappointed.
My go-to example of a capital F film, The English Patient.
Yeah.
This is a man who really loved Seinfeld. And so he's just like, remember how Seinfeld made English Patient jokes?
This is an 80s low-budget Italian horror movie, and as such, has serious plot, dubbing, and acting problems. That said, this is actually a very good movie for the genre. The connection to the original movie is a bit blurry, but it does try to connect the two together. Apparently, somebody made a movie about the first incident, and it's this movie that infects a new building filled with badly dubbed Italian actors. The makeup effects are quite good, and the demons are pretty unsettling. I'd say this movie is on par with the original Demons, largely because it's almost exactly the same movie. And this movie is a pretty brutal movie. None of the humorous subtext you'd find in Nightmare on Elm Street sequels, or Scream, or most other modern horror movies. Nope, just a bunch of people desperately fighting to survive and not doing a very good job of it. They aren't all stupid either. They do try. Unfortunately, the screenwriters arranged it so that all the windows are unbreakable and the electric doors unable to be opened. This movie also breaks some horror movie taboos, as children were surprisingly made into victims. On a lighter note, and I'm going to pause there, Devin.
So, on a lighter note, I've been, since the terror attacks on our nation, really been getting myself into better shape and I have this great personal trainer named Hank, who's been really helping me out. But unfortunately, I did kind of like scratch myself in the barbell the other day, so I'm a little worried about that. I don't think it's going to be anything major, but boy, do my teeth hurt. I'm a demon.
I don't fucking know.
That's my favorite part of the movie, where they go, "I'm a demon."
Well done, Devin. We got the connection to Hank the trainer. We had the scratch. I love the connection that was on a barbell. The teeth hurting, very well done. And of course, that classic demon catchphrase, "I'm a demon." Dan, does that provide a good example of what these can look like?
Yeah.
So, Dan, this review concerns Demons 1. And this review comes from the 1st of August, 2010. So this person had just, watched a back-to-back screening of Inception and Toy Story 3, followed it up with Demons, and wrote this film. I should note that this reviewer gave Demons a 2 out of 10. And the title of this review is Zombies from Hell. Cheryl, a student in West Berlin, travels the subway where she encounters an eerie masked man, Phantom of the Opera style, who offers her a free ticket to the cinema. Intrigued, she asks for a second for her girlfriend, Hannah. That evening, they arrive at the Metropole, a long-closed theater, on the night of its grand reopening. The premiere film is a horror flick, as if taken from the annals of Evil Dead. They even find a Necronomicon-type ancient book. Swiftly and deadly, the fiction on the silver screen transforms into reality as cinemagoers start changing into zombie-like demons. I can't help but feel that the undeserving high ranking of the movie is given in large part due to the participation of the legendary Dario Argento, an icon of horror movies and poster boy for Italian cinema in general. But in general, this movie is a total bust, with over-the-top kitsch gore, bad acting, and no interesting plot to hold it together. It's not frightening or entertaining, and the special effects do not withhold time well, unlike, i.e., the aforementioned Evil Dead. Additionally, the storyline basically is a not too clever take on zombie flicks with a slight movie becoming reality twist. One of those movies which show that Dario Argento was slowly losing his edge in the 80s. Albeit he's only culpable for script writing this awful excuse for a movie. Somehow, this gory, pointless flick got a second outing, and given it has no atmosphere or point, I am audaciously surprised with the high marks this movie has. I fail to understand, I'll pause us there, Dan, and let you finish how what will befall this 2 out of 10 reviewer.
I fail to understand. Fuck, I just scratched myself on my keyboard. I don't know why I have an entirely metal keyboard, but I do because a weird man gave it to me on the subway. I'm going to go hang out with my pregnant wife now as we live in our new high-rise constructed in Jersey City, and I await my punk Coke-loving friends to deliver me a pizza for my birthday, as long as my crush, I'm in a throuple, by the way, doesn't come. Anyways, I've been locked in the room watching this movie. Oh my God, what's coming out of the screen? Holy fuck, I'm a demon.
Hey!
Man, I don't think that was close. I just got my ass handed to me.
I am sorry, Devin. I'm tallying up the score. You had 4 references here, whereas Dan, you had at least 8 references that I counted to the Demons franchise. Masterfully woven with, of course, that classic ending, I'm a demon. And because of that, Dan, you are the winner of this week's Vox Populi.
So this reviewer thinks the movie looks like shit, right? It's weird because it's like, it's not like this movie looks realistic, but it's like, I feel like this is a reviewer who is watching this and looking for, like, to the extent that a horror film can be like naturalism in like the cinematic sense, is like, that's like what they're looking for, right? Right. Like, what would the demons actually look like? But the Demons movies are very much like movies about horror movies, you
Right.
know? And like to me, it's like I think the movies look great. I think the effects look great, but they also are very much like they have this quality of like, look, we're doing effects that to me is like kind of enhances the my reaction, because it's like it's part of what it's doing is showing you how horrifying something you know is fake can be.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's really interesting. The reviewers like Dario Argento's losing his touch. And he's like, he clearly has a problem with the fact that this is, you know, I'm sure you guys know the person who's like, I don't like horror films, but I like Dario Argento, right?
Yeah,
like it's too low class compared to, you know, the high thrills of Suspiria or Profondo Rosso or whatever. You know, and it goes back to what you said, like, to some extent, it is a gorehound film, right? Like, it zooms in on the effects, so you can see a chest burst open, or you do see eyes pop, or whatever. And we get and the teeth stuff. I mean, that's definitely part of it, right? Watching the teeth come in. I mean, that's a pure thrill for the horror fan, maybe not the fan of cinema with a capital C.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, I think that's such a good point, because there's so much like the Argento fan is like it's like the guy who's only into like elevated cuisine or something, you know. And it's like, you know, but this movie is like proudly a B movie. Like it's not trying to elevate the B movie so much as it's like it's trying to execute the B movie and kind of like utilize what is specific to like what B horror movies are. You know, it's not trying to like take a B horror movie premise and then do it in a high cinema way. It's like actually embracing the genre that it is, right?
It's not like fucking Ari Aster, who has ruined my life.
I fucking hate that guy. This will get us in trouble with some people, but I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, Ethan, but I'm a very anti Ari Aster.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you know who we're talking about? It's the Midsommar guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that's a great. No, good.
Nope.
Okay. I think Ari Aster is like a great counterexample to this, right? Because like Ari Aster is like a guy who makes horror movies because he's like ashamed of horror movies,
right?
You know, and he's like, let me show you how I can make a horror movie, but I'm like look at all of my fancy cinematic shots and like, oh, it's all like an allegory or whatever, you know, like kind of shit. And to me, he ends up having all of the worst qualities of both horror movies and like capital C cinema without any of like what makes either of those things great. And I know he has a good cinematic eye. He can like put together like a nice composed shot. But to me, it always feels so hollow. Like, it's just like, yeah, I get it. I've seen Kubrick too, you know, like, whereas like this again is like, it reminds me of how like Sam Delaney, the sci-fi writer, talks about how like attempts to kind of theorize science fiction as this kind of grander thing that trace it back to like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and like, you know, that leads to the phenomenon of like, you know, all the Sam Delaney books being reprinted with these very kind of minimalist designy covers instead of like ones with weird paintings of like muscly dudes on them, you know. Like that, like this phenomenon is like not actually wanting to embrace what science fiction really is, which is like a proudly pulp genre, you know, with pulp conventions. And to me, Ari Aster is like such a, and like all the A24 shit is such a example of like just wanting to use horror for like the purpose of having a premise, having a conceit, but then because we can't actually just make movies about like, we can't just make like dramas anymore. There has to be a genre element, right? But something that like the film is simultaneously kind of like embarrassed about. Whereas Demons is not embarrassed at all. Demons is like, no, look at what we're doing here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Demons realizes that it's not going to rise to the social commentary of, like Dawn of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead, right? Like those are definitely, influences that it has on its mind. But Demons, including, its kind of racist depiction of Tony and Hank, is just not interested in giving you a serious depiction of socio or economic difference. It just wants you to know that you live in a rotten era.
Yeah, yeah. You live in all this new construction is actually a fucking death trap. You've actually been locked up in a cage. There's no way out. You can't even kill yourself. There are no windows to jump out of, right? You have to stay inside and you have to die at the hands of a demon. No matter how many cars you have, no matter how many Molotov cocktails you throw, right?
And I do feel like, we brought up the nihilism a bunch, but the nihilism really is the thing that I think makes these movies so interesting. It's just that, because they don't tell you what they're an allegory for, the allegory that you can make of that nihilism is just so pliable and interesting. And it sustains thought as opposed to just being yeah, depression really fucks you up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like that's something I think so much horror cinema now tends to be just, it's very obvious allegory where there's one interpretation, and it's just once you do that, it's oh, okay, I see what you did there. Demons very much resists that, right? It's giving you something that is actually fundamentally scary because it can't be clearly allegorized. You can't contain the narrative in that way. It's wait, why did these things happen at these times? It just it doesn't give you clear answers. It doesn't give you a clear metaphor, which maybe I think this is maybe a point to start talking a little about, I think the endings of the two films, which are so different, because to the extent that the films are allegorizing anything, there's something going on with the family and the nuclear family in particular, and to the degree to which it is a refuge or not from this kind of general immiseration of the 80s, right? And it's interesting because the first film, we sort of get this promise of a new family unit emerging in somewhat of a non-traditional way. This kind of just, oh, we've picked you up off the street and now you're part of our survivalist family. Mm-hmm. And we have this promise briefly of oh, the couple form will persist in the apocalypse. And then it's oh, no, you need to kill your girlfriend too. You need to kill everyone. You can't have any sentimentality. Whereas Demons 2 does give it this ending of man, woman, child, this sense of they're going to live happily ever after to the extent one can live happily in this world. I wonder what you all think about, is there a consistent ideology there? Are the films just taking two different tracks on this question?
Devin, I was so convinced that there was going to be a demon baby in Demons 2. And then she gives birth and it's just a normal baby. That's all I want to say is I am looking through my notes, and multiple times throughout the movie, I kept making the note oh yeah, demon baby's coming. Look at all these setups. It's definitely going to be a demon baby, because I had Demons 1 in my mind with that kind of ending jump scare. And then we don't get that.
Yeah, and and up to this point of that film, we've had we've had dogs die, we've had children die. The film has not been pulling punches in that regard, but yeah, it does kind of allow this couple to have their baby perfectly healthily and escape.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder what Lamberto Bava, has he changed his mind between the two films? I mean, it does seem significant that the second one really does end by being listen, if we just solve the problem of technology, we can have reproductive futurity again. But you got to figure that one out first. Just going to his Wikipedia, he's also the AD, interestingly, on Cannibal Holocaust. Are you guys familiar with this one?
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
So Cannibal Holocaust is interesting for our discussion. You know, it's infamously an extremely gory film. It's still banned in England, not for its gore, but because they kill a turtle on screen.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
At one point, the director of it, whose name is Ruggero Deodato, was brought up on murder charges because people thought that one shot of an impaled woman had actually been a real impalement.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so he had to provide like photographic evidence of the woman, you know, laughing and talking. Because what was interesting is that he actually did get a lot of indigenous people to be in the film, and many of them weren't registered with the government. So that led to this interesting ambiguity where he could have killed someone, and no one really would have known. But what's interesting with Cannibal Holocaust is that it's also one of the first, maybe the first, found footage horror movie in the way that we think of it today. It's about, it does it twice. It's two different documentary crews going into the Amazon and then being killed by cannibals who they piss off in various ways. And so, you know, if we track that through these two movies, you can see that Bava's thinking even earlier in his career about the weird ways that, you know, mediation leads to violence. In that way, it's a mechanical way, right? Like the documentary crew is a bunch of, you know, people from the metropole coming into the Amazon, starting shit. And Demons is the long buried danger of the metropole coming back. You know, I don't know what to do with the Nostradamus thing, except to say that it seems that the movie wants us to understand that, you know, demons have a long history in this place, and they're you just got to deal with them. And I get that, and this gets back to, you know, your question about the different positions of the ending. I mean, they're two working out of like, how do you escape, you know, the problem of mediation? In one, you don't. You just keep driving with your weird survivalist family. And in the other, you have a baby and you smash all the TVs and you go back to the land.
Yeah, yeah. You don't give your kid an iPad at age 4 or whatever.
You know, Demons 4 plot idea.
Yeah, but it is so interesting, right? Because it is like, you know, it's the 80s, the level of mediation so much, like there's so much less than there is now, right? But this film is the films are already just like, holy shit, we need to stop this now, right? Like though it also, like, I think to me it's like the first one to me works better, because I think the first one seems to understand that it's gesturing to me towards the fact that there's actually a totality that exceeds mediation itself as a technological problem. It doesn't necessarily represent that totality or tell us what it is. It's not like it has like a clear like Marxist theory or something, but it seems to me to be kind of like gesturing towards the fact that, like, even with just like the conspiratorial nature of the film, and like even like how half-baked it is, but just like there's this guy who's behind it with the mask, and then this strange automated theater, right? It's like gesturing towards the fact that there's some larger process at work. And that you know, even if you can try to run away from it, like it's not going to be sufficient, right? Whereas I feel like the second one allows itself to be like, oh no, we could just, if we stop the images, that in itself is enough. Like it kind of, and I feel like a lot of art in the 80s kind of ends up in this space of like, you know, like we have so many images in like 1980s cinema of like the smashing of screens and the destroying of, like, the idea that like, oh, it's the society of the spectacles, so like the terrain that we fight on is actually the terrain of the image, and we need to destroy the image. And that always feels good. You get this little avant-garde, like, oh yeah, kind of feeling. But then it's like, oh, that doesn't actually work. Like it in itself isn't sufficient to smash the screen. Like it feels good to say that, right? But if you don't address the totalizing process that is bringing these results about, it is going to keep reasserting itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just like fall into that like, oh well, like the fetishism of apocalypse, as a way of escaping.
We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
I mean, it is interesting. And one thing that when I was rewatching Demons 2 for this, I was like, you didn't smash all the screens. He leaves her image up on most of the screens. He only smashes the one where she's coming at him. So, perhaps it ambiguously leaves it open. And also, the Demons might make their own movie within a movie, Demons 3, which would lead to Demons 3. We always have that possibility. We never get into the motive or the Hollywood of the Demons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where are these films being made? Right? Who is producing them? Is this movie playing in other places besides this apartment building?
Right. Well, it must be, right? Because it's on TV.
Yeah. I mean, but we weirdly don't see any of that.
Right.
Besides, we only see what's happening in the apartment building. It's a little unclear. Like, is there something specific about like Sally and her, like, the way she's watching this movie that sort of triggers the demon's emergence from the screen? Would this have happened anyway? It does seem to, in partly the movie just kind of wants to punish Sally for being like, such a huge bitch and making her dad eat a fucking pretzel like a fucking dog, like a piece of trash.
Why did I have to come here? To eat like a dog, just so Sally can have a party.
I'm going to assume that they're like Italian immigrants in Berlin, and they're just like, I can't believe I was going to make her the pasta tonight, but my dumb daughter has a birthday. I have to eat the strudel. Like, anything else you guys wanted to hit before we wrap up? Or
no, not really.
I think we've got pretty long. Ethan, anything you wanted to throw out there?
No, we touched on the demon baby. I'm good.
Cool. All right. So that's been our discussion of Demons and Demons 2. Stop listening to this podcast, smash your phone, go live in a cabin somewhere, have a baby. But there is one more thing we have to do, which is pass out the Walton Goggins. Dan, as you may know, we for our second season, we are rating films in terms of Walton Goggins. So we'll go around the horn and let everybody know where we stand on this one. Ethan, did you want to go first to show Dan how it works?
Sure. And again, I think the way that it works is it works however you'd like it to work. So, depending on how well versed you are in Walton Goggins' filmography, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do here. And so I'd say, do we want to do like both films or one at a time?
I'm probably going to rate both.
Okay.
So you could do all your ratings at once.
Okay. Shit. 1 second.
Well, the podcast is ruined now.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say for Demons 1, I'm going to go with Walton Goggins from The Hateful Eight, which again is sort of like a motif on like this larger genre. But again, it's Walton Goggins from The Hateful Eight, but then like partway through the film, like a demon bursts out of him. So one demon baby, Walton Goggins for Demons. And for Demons 2, same general premise, but Walton Goggins from the 1998 film Major League Back to the Minors, where he played Billy Downtown Anderson. And again, same premise where now we've got, a kind of a sequel. You're kind of wondering, like, how many Major League films can they possibly make? Was one perhaps too many Major League films? But Walton Goggins in that, but again, partway through, bursts out to this time become more of like a baby demon. Because you know, I'm really into the baby demon aspect, and so it's going to be like that little demon from Demons 2 with the strings very clearly attached to it, that has burst forth from Walton Goggins. So those are the two Walton Goggins that I'm going to give Demons and Demons 2. What about you, Devin?
Yeah, so, you know, I think there's, you know, I kind of have actually 3 different ratings in a sense.
Wow.
Because I think there's Demons 1 by itself, right? Very solid, very, very enjoyable horror film. Then you've got Demons 2, I think an inferior film on its own, still like a fine horror film, but the combination of Demons 1 and 2, I think, is really where it works for me. It's only 3 hours total to watch these 2 films. You can really watch them in like one sitting if you want. And the like
or you could watch the Batman.
You made most of the Batman. Yeah.
Not quite all of it.
You know, it's really like the meta conceit of Demons 1 into Demons 2 is so weird and inexplicable that like it's really, to me, like that combination is really like it's like the chocolate and the peanut butter. So I thus am going to in deference to our Italian listeners, pass out my Walton Goggins as follows. Dimoni uno, alcuni Walton Goggins. Dimoni due, pochi Walton Goggins. Dimoni uno e due, molti Walton Goggins.
I appreciated the gesticulation you did with those reviews as you were doing them, Devin.
Thank you. Yeah, for the subscribe to our Patreon for the visual tier that doesn't actually exist. We don't have a Patreon. Let us know if you would like to send us money.
We will take
bad enough listening to this garbage. You can also watch me twirl my pen the entire time.
Smashing the screens, the closest analogy I can think of to that would be sending us money. It's the same general idea. So please do.
All right, Dan, how about you?
All right, I'll give Demons 1 Walton Goggins in The Shield, because I would say that Demons 1, like Walton Goggins does to his family in the conclusion of The Shield, kills it. Demons 2 gets Walton Goggins in the unfairly forgotten sequel to Predators. For sequels that people should watch more. And together, I give them 1 Walton Goggins in Ant-Man and the Wasp, because, like we talked about, I do believe this should have been a cinematic universe to rival the MCU.
In a like, you know, that meme that's like the picture of like the super futuristic city, and it's like, you know, this would be the future if this had happened. That would be our future if we had gotten the Demoni cinematic universe instead of the Marvel cinematic universe. Imagine if we just got like a new Demoni every like 3 months.
Well, for a minute there, you know, if you were an unlucky enough video store browser, you actually would have felt that way, because they did call at least 2 different films Demons 3 randomly to cash in on the fact that people would know what Demons was.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, Dan, thanks so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to plug or anywhere you want to send listeners?
Yeah. I would send listeners to Demons 1. I'm just going to plug the movie.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Dan.
Thank you.
And thank you, listeners, for catching this episode of You're Tall, But I'm Standing in Front of You. Let us know what you want us to watch, what you want us to talk about. Email us at yourtallpod@gmail.com. We've only ever gotten one email from that guy who claims to know who Shakespeare really was.
He was a demon.
Yeah. Or follow us at yourtallpod. Follow Ethan at Mathesippi. Follow me at Stale Cooper. And we'll be back later in the month with the return of Matt Powers, who you may remember from our Halloween Spooktacular last year. We're going to be watching the 1999 film Virus. So get ready for that one. All right. Bye-bye. I'm a demon.
I'm a demon.